Never have I actually thought Trump was my daddy. And Kamala is not our mommy. Now, I realize Drew Barrymore has an effed up mom who put her into the spotlight at this young age and let her do drugs and drink when she was, I think, in the single digits, or like 12 at the oldest. That's a sickness, right? She's platformed these people. She leaned in and woke. Now she wants to get away with on Bill Maher. If you've changed, then own that. Own how you've changed, how you've seen the error of your ways. You won't be kneeling down to the transgender cult anymore. And I'll listen to you. A lot of people have evolutions. I will listen to you. Right now, I think you're just saying what you think you need to say to be popular with Bill Maher's audience.
All right, let's dive into this total disaster of an interview because honestly, I don't know whether to laugh, cringe, or pour myself a double whiskey just to survive it. Drew Barrymore. Yes, the same Drew Barrymore who once literally got on her knees in front of Dylan Mulvaney recently sat down with Bill Maher. And let me tell you, this was not the comeback she probably imagined. Before we even unpack what went wrong, can we pause for a second and talk about Drew Barrymore? Here's the thing, she's not just any celebrity. She's Hollywood royalty, a child star who's been in the spotlight literally since she could walk. But with that fame came chaos. This is someone who was forced into stardom at an extremely young age, reportedly drinking and using drugs while still basically a kid. That kind of childhood leaves scars, period. And now, decades later, she's still drifting through Hollywood. Like a lost balloon at a kid's party, untethered, without direction, always trying to guess what people want her to be. This interview with Bill Maher was supposed to be her big honest moment. The issue is honesty doesn't work when you don't even know yourself. What we got instead was a lesson in awkwardness, contradictions, and Hollywood doublespeak. Then, Megyn Kelly jumps in. Megyn Kelly didn't just comment on Drew Barrymore. She destroyed her. She basically cut open Barrymore's carefully built image for the world to see. And honestly, it was harsh but fair. So here's the scene. Drew sits across from Bill Maher, nodding while he talks about free speech. Bill points out that under Trump, you could speak freely. But under Biden, it felt like stepping through a minefield barefoot. One wrong word and boom. Career gone, friendships gone, reputation gone. And whether you like Bill Maher or not, you can't deny he has a point. Everyone saw it. People are getting canceled for tweets from 10 years ago. Careers ruined overnight. For saying something the woke mob disliked. It wasn't paranoia. It was real.
On Drew Barrymore, this again on the podcast, and listen to what she said in SAW 28.
You have a lot of bravado about what you think is the truth or not, but it's just so refreshing. Like, you were doing this before it was so dangerous.
Still dangerous.
And it is just way too dangerous now, but you're still doing it.
It's slightly less dangerous than it was 2 years ago because we did have a vibe change, and because the Democrats lost so badly in 2024, the blush is off the rose on left-wing censorship and, oh my God, you can't say that. Stop telling me what I can do, what I can say, what I can think, who my heroes are supposed to be. Just get the...
But here's where Drew Barrymore jumps in and totally drops the ball. She leans in, eyes wide, and says, "Oh, it's still too risky to share your real thoughts." And I had to pause and ask myself, Drew, risky for whom exactly? Because let's not forget this is the same woman who happily gave a platform to Kamala Harris and praised Dylan Mulvaney like they were heroes of the world.
He's saying what he's always said, to his credit. He's been very consistent. But there you have Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore talking about how it's still too dangerous to speak out with your real opinions. So what are her real opinions? Because just like Jimmy Kimmel and Sarah Silverman, she's been fueling the fire of wokeism for years. Who could forget how she humiliated herself next to fake quote unquote woman, meaning a man, Dylan Mulvaney, who came on her show and was treated like Jesus.
All this worry about free speech when people were getting silenced everywhere. Under Democrat rule, back then, Drew was totally fine sipping the woke Kool-Aid. She didn't just sip it, she drowned in it. Then Megyn Kelly calls it out, and she does it in the only way Megyn Kelly can, razor sharp, no mercy. She basically says, look, Drew, if you've had a change of heart, then own it. Say it out loud. Admit you were wrong. Admit you bowed to the transgender crowd and regret it. Admit you won't keep fueling the woke madness that people would actually respect. But instead, Drew does the Hollywood shuffle. She says whatever sounds good at the moment, especially if—
Oh my God, there's so much wrong with that clip. It's stomach turning. She's like, leftists need to learn the number one lesson of being happy in life. Do not lean into your problems. Don't lean into crazy. Everyone's had crazy in their lives. The successful, sane ones do not obsess over it, do not want to relive it over and over, do not want to talk about it night and day on their show, do not talk about things like the ground feels safe to me. And they certainly do not literally bend the knee to the cult of transgenderism, Drew. And then talk about how, gee, it feels so dangerous. It's so dangerous, still too dangerous to say how you really feel. About what? What is it? Do you have a reversal on that issue?
And here's where it gets interesting, because Megyn asks a question that's really worth thinking about. Maybe Drew Barrymore has actually changed. Maybe she does have doubts about all the woke talking points she's been repeating. But she's too scared to say it because, let's be real, the woke mob doesn't forgive. If you step even slightly off script, you're finished. It's not like normal politics, where people debate and move on. No, in woke culture, if you slip, they'll cancel you, drag you, and make sure you never work again. So maybe Drew does see the cracks in the ideology. Maybe she does regret kneeling to Dylan Mulvaney on national TV. But instead of admitting it, she hides behind vague, it's dangerous words. And that right there is the problem. That's the sickness. Because if you know the truth but are too scared to say it, you're complicit. And Drew Barrymore is completely complicit. She promoted Kamala Harris. She even called her Mamala. Like, come on. It doesn't get more cringe than that.
Take a risk. You're in a safe space with Bill. Maybe he should have gotten her out down on the floor, and she would have said how she really felt. You continuously vote for the party and the people who push that bullshit on us. You, madam, are complicit. You hosted Kamala Harris, who says, we all need to be woke. We need to be woke because we just do. That's your person who you actually had on your program and wanted us to call Mama.
Politicians aren't our parents, and they definitely aren't meant to be our mommy or daddy. The whole Trump is daddy, Kamala is mommy stuff is just embarrassing. Politicians aren't here to hold our hands. They're supposed to lead, protect freedoms, create chances, and keep the country strong. We don't need babysitters. We need leaders. But Drew doesn't see it that way. She plays into the fantasy. And you know why? Because she's still that Hollywood child star trained to perform, trained to say whatever keeps the crowd cheering. It's not real. It's survival. And that's what makes this whole thing so sad.
When we lift each other up, we all rise with the mouth quivering, just like the hideous to Dylan. Where do you find the strength to keep being the joy? Where do you find the strength to keep being the joy? Oh my God, she's too far gone. This is what happens when you become a Hollywood actress as a child. You lose your id. You don't know who you are. You're just floating. You're like the Martian, the astronaut disconnected from the spaceship. You're just adrift in space, untethered. You don't know who you are. Where do you find the strength to keep being the joy?
Let's not forget this is the same Drew Barrymore who got down on her knees in front of Dylan Mulvaney. She literally bowed to woke ideology on live TV, and now she's suddenly talking about how risky it is to share opinions. Risky for whom, Drew? Because you weren't worried when the mob was silencing conservatives. You weren't worried when whole careers were destroyed back then. You were totally fine cheering for the cause. The only reason you're nervous now is because the tide has changed. Americans are done with it. People are mocking woke culture and pushing back, and you can feel the shift. That's why Drew is panicking. It's not risky anymore to tell the truth. It's